Senator Carpenter, Senator Deneen,
Here.
Senator Higdon, Senator Neal, Senator Smith, Representative Kleins,
Here.
Representative Decker, Representative Holloway,
Here.
Representative McPherson,
Here.
Representative Watkins, Co-Chair Mills,
Here.
Co-Chair Witten.
Here.
All right. Well, we're thankful for the House today. Y'all nearly doubled up the Senate here in this task force with our attendance. So thanks for being here. The second item on our agenda is the approval of our minutes for September and October meeting.
moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. The minutes are approved. All right. So the big thing that we're here today to do is to approve and our final report. And the members received the final report several days ago, and this was also posted today online for the general public to see this report. And just to give you just a little background on this, this is ending our second year of the Housing Task Force, and our report is really just a guideline, an overview, and thanks to Chris Jakovich to my right here that did a lot of work consolidating all of this information and condensing it for us. And this is really just meant to be an overview of what we've learned and some of the things that we believe are directives and next steps to take. We do have some recommendations in the back, actually 14 recommendations. Some of them are more suggestions than recommendations, but there's still next steps that can be taken as we move forward in the realm of housing in the General Assembly. So at this time, I will open the floor up to any members that would like to comment or say anything about the report or anything that they would like to editorialize on a little bit. And is first up is Representative McPherson.
Yeah, so first thing I'd like to say that I think it was well put together. I read the report, and I hadn't read it the other day when we were on the panel, but it was a lot of what we were discussing on the panel the other day. I think it's pretty concise, goes over things that need to be done, good suggestions. One thing I'd like to add to consider was maybe the right to rebuild. I saw in there that there's in some subdivisions, that if like-kinding subdivisions, but as an appraiser, I get called quite a bit from institutions that say, if this house burnt down, could I rebuild this house? So I think we would like to put some emphasis on the right to rebuild to make sure that, if you're living in a subdivision and maybe the laws have changed, but your house burns down, I get asked that by almost every lending institution. So if we could do something like that to say, as long as it meets current code, we would have the right to rebuild in that same area. Even if some changes have been done with square footage, they really look at square footage or things like that have been adjusted. Would you be able to have the right to rebuild without it being real costly to you? So I appreciate the report. I think it's a really good report, and that's my comments. Thank you.
Very good. Representative, would you like to, there is an area on page 6, paragraph 3, that is kind of similar to that. Would you like to move to have an extra line put in that to adjust that?
Please, that would be, that's where I was referring to. I knew it was close to it, but I would like to specifically say, as long as it stays within code, we would have the right to rebuild.
Okay. All right. Sorry, turn my mic on here. Sorry. The last sentence where it says, this can mean that infill or redevelopment, or sorry, right here, simply.
Should be able to build out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says, This can mean that infill or redevelopment of those areas is made impractical. Simply put, a developer should be able to build or rebuild housing in an area that conforms to that area's actual character. Does that sound good? So there's a motion to make that text change. Is there a second? Can we have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Thank you. Very, very good input. Any other items that, any comments or anything? Representative Watkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. General comment, but before I think I have a question. Being a freshman, I think naivete allows me at least one mulligan. And so,
Sure.
am I to understand that during this time we are going to go through this report in some uniform way, or so just if I have comments or questions, do so now?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, please stop me if it's too much. But on the initial comment, I think this was exceptional work to be a part of as a freshman who comes from an urban district that is suffering on housing. So first off, it was really great to see the uniform approach from the General Assembly around housing together. This is not just an urban problem in Louisville. This is a problem across the Commonwealth. And I really feel that the work that you both have done as co-chairs has painted the picture and continued this effort to say, now that we've identified the problem, what solutions are on the table. And I think a lot of what we've talked about this entire summer largely is bipartisan in effort. I really have appreciated the expert testimony from varied sources. The technical expertise from the witnesses has been phenomenal. Having a housing background myself and coming from local government, the work here has spanned not just what developers need, but what technical barriers we need to remove from cities and counties to speed up the process. I really feel like the General Assembly has a sense of urgency that I was hoping to see. So 10 out of 10s, as the young millennials would say, no notes on that. But I would like to go to just a few specific items if I could. And I want to start at state support. That's page 7 here, particularly on paragraph 1. And I understand that these are recommendations. I would just urge, if I could, Mr. Chair and Madam Co-Chair, that I think I would like to see a bit more stronger language on our interventions. I think these are recommendations, so we're saying may do certain things, but I think the language should be around the state should require additional intervention. Just to highlight the sense of urgency that we have here. That would, for me, just signal a stronger push for our colleagues during the General Assembly in 26 to really come out of the gate swinging. I also would like to just add on the record a note of caution on moratoriums, if I could. I understand the section that speaks about moratoriums for building code reform, specifically on changes to the code that would allow for sort of green or sustainable practices. And I say that I caution us on the moratorium for those practices because as we start talking about housing, our very next conversation is going to be around the utility burden. And oftentimes some of the more, as we've seen, with conferences and such this year, some of the more sustainable building practices are relieving energy costs for our constituents. So I just want to caution that while it may make sense in the short term to place a moratorium on building codes, I'm really concerned about the affordability of maintaining the home after it's built. So I would like to recommend that we think about incentivizing some of those practices that would make particularly energy costs a little bit more affordable there. And at the risk of going over, again, pulling out my freshman naivete, if you would allow me one more comment, I would appreciate it.
Sure, one more.
I would like for us to, sorry, I have notes here. I would like for us to think about, on the demand side, funding more down payment assistance and expansion on that. We're going to create, hopefully in this next year, opportunities for housing to be built. I want to make sure that we are also increasing opportunities for homeowners and such to buy. And I think if we expanded the funding for programs like down payment assistance, it would accomplish just that. Thank you,
Very good.
Mr. and Mrs. Chair.
Very good. Any other comments on our letter? Representative Kleins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to thank Senator Mills and Representative Whitten for your effort, not only this interim, but the interim before. So, as a member of the committee for the last 2 years, I certainly, I think, can speak on behalf of the committee and thank you for your efforts. I too also think that it's time that we as legislators, our challenge is to really start to edict some things through statute. I think the time for consensus has passed, and I think we have some, but I don't think we're going to be able to please everyone. But I do think it's time for us to really write some legislation that's going to make some changes for our housing shortage. So thank you.
Very good. Well, hopefully this overview of our work and is pushing that way and heading that way to where we can have some legislation that's passed. Senator Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank both of you, co-chair and chairman, for your work over the last 2 interim sessions. Looking over the review of the work, I'm very encouraged by some of the suggestions in relation to allowing local governments the flexibility to adopt their own pro-housing policies. I think when we can get it down to our local governments and municipalities implementing changes that are appropriate for their area, I think that is the best. And I am encouraged by some of the task force's recommendations in dealing with some past legislation and maybe bringing that back up in House Bill 7, Senate Bill 50. I'm also would like to make a comment about the rehabilitation tax credits. I think we have a lot of aging homes in our communities and a lot of historic districts that are going through some shifts in how they're used and whether or not they're single-family homes or Airbnbs or what have you. I think that those tax credits are important to continue those historic districts and to maintain that Kentucky feel, if you will, of our small towns across the Commonwealth. And I would finally like to just say that on point 14, on the very last page of the recommendation, when it deals with directly supporting housing construction, our developers are out there working as hard as they can, and we have so many developers coming from out of state, and affordability sometimes is all relevant to the cost of what they're having to do. So when I see directly supporting housing construction efforts and residential infrastructure, revolving loan funds, state matching low-income housing tax credits, I'm encouraged for our developers when I see those type of things, and I look forward to some legislation this coming session in regards to those areas. I think they're critical if we're going to continue to chip away at this crisis. So thank you.
Yep. Great. Senator Smith, did you have a comment?
I do. I apologize for being late. I've been stuck in the
mic.
traffic. Is it on out there?
There you go.
I got stuck in the 75
Oh, yeah.
traffic. Folks, first off, it's been an honor to be on this committee. It's something that I think most know is very important to me. I've spent the greater part of last week with the new homes coming into Perry County that came in that were manufactured in Louisville and then brought in on trucks and will be assembled. And that's an incredible testament to the fact that we have rebuilt a community there instead of just throwing up some of the housing that we've had through my lifetime. But, Kentucky's housing, we found out through our studies, is like a big quilt. There's a lot of different colors and patches sewn into it, a lot of different needs from Louisville to Lexington to Eastern Kentucky, from Hindman and many others. But when they're all stitched together, there's a couple takeaways that I think are critical for us to look at. One is the affordable housing credit works, and we know it works. I was not aware of how much other states have utilized that. I think Senator Hignett and I were probably part of the original sponsors for that piece of legislation. I think Fitzstill and I had originally done it, but we've seen how successful that's been. I think that that's a piece of legislation that we could all get behind to increase that amount so that we've got more money available for these programs because it works. And also zoning. This is one of the things we run into. Even after the flood, when you had a lot of public investment to want to get involved, when you go up there and you're wondering why they've only got a couple houses built and not a great many, it's because a lot of the stuff is permitting, getting the permits through. And this is something that's a government issue. It's something we need to fix. The cabinet needs to have a low dock program into place for these housing crises to where you can move forward quickly so that the permits can follow the development, not the other way around. But we've seen development on jobs where the wood's already darkened out there because they're waiting for a permit. And that's something that should never happen with a housing crisis like what we have. So if that means we have to revamp the way we handle permits or what needs to be done over there, that's something that falls on us as legislators, that we come up with a much more efficient way of making sure that the permits are in the hands of the contractors when they've already secured the materials and they're ready to go and they're waiting for us to get that done. So a couple of wins that we can pick up very quickly. That's what we do. But this has been a tremendous project to be able to be a part of, and I just want to thank the committee for allowing me to be on it. Thank you.
Very good. Senator Higdon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for the committee for your work on this and all the presenters. Last year we introduced Senate Bill 59 that allowed churches to build on their property and to kind of bypass the zoning laws, but it had to follow the building codes, and whatever the governing body was of that community would have to okay it, so they didn't completely get away. But there's a lot of things in those planning and zoning commissions that, like you had to have this parking space. If you did an apartment, you had to have it allow for 2 cars. And if you're doing affordable housing, 1 parking space might be plenty. And the size of the units, we've, over the years, everybody wanted, what $100,000 would buy you 10 years ago. That space would be go from 1,000 square feet or 1,200 square feet. Now it might be 500 square feet. But those are livable, accommodations for some people. And so again, this is not a cure-all for our issues, but it's a piece to the puzzle. And this issue has a lot of faces, and this is just a small piece. So I'm not introducing it this time. It died in the House, so we'll let them start it this time. Representative Pollack will start it in the House, and it'll come back this way. So House members, you'll see that bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. All right, Representative, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you both for the very interesting meetings full of lots of great information. I was not on the task force last year, watched some of your meetings, and have just been impressed by the wide variety of experts you've brought. Thank you very much for that. I was encouraged to see your report. I think it has it addresses many of the issues that have led us here. Government, in some respect, has led us here. So the focus on regulatory reform, zoning issues, building codes. Very impressed by what has been brought out here. Look forward to working on some of the legislation with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Decker. I didn't call your name, sorry. Co-Chair Witten.
Thank you, Chair Mills. I just want to reiterate how what a pleasure this has been for the second year to co-chair the Housing Task Force. It is, as everyone here knows, it is not a simple problem. And so the more we talked about it, it requires a very complex solution. And I'm proud of the recommendations that we have because, as we realize that this is not something that is just an urban issue. It is not just for single families or multifamilies. It is a problem for everyone in the state of Kentucky, and our recommendations span the solutions for every solution. So really, really happy about the solutions that we came up with. I do think that many of these will result in legislation, and I'm from day one, I will push for a quick passage on many of them. So I appreciate all of the individuals that have spoken. Their testimony has been very important for us to get all of the information that we need, and I just appreciate everyone's feedback, and I hope that we can make a real difference this session.
Very good. Well, I'll just try to put a bow on all this. This is, like I think Senator Higdon just said, it's like a big puzzle, and housing is complex. There's a lot of pieces that are involved in it. But basically, what we've learned over the last 2 years is kind of comes down to two things, two big pots. One of them is regulation and the delays that might be caused by regulation. We've got to have good laws, local or state laws, whichever one they might be, to help government do what it needs to do, but yet get out of the way of developers and encourage development. The second is just really a money issue. It's incentivization. It's how much money we put in affordable housing, how much we incentivize development and developers. And, coming into this budget year, we've got some tough decisions to be made. And I think it behooves all of us on this board that knows the challenges of housing to advocate for whatever level of government involvement you think needs to occur here. The interesting thing is that everybody around us, thanks to KHC for pointing this out, everybody around us incentivizes housing except for Kentucky. So we've got to figure out how are we going to play in that ball game. We want to compete in economic development. We're lowering our personal income tax to be more competitive. But if folks don't have a place to live, then they're not going to come work in Kentucky and live in Kentucky. So it's this, I hate to say it's this circular problem, and we've got to let our leaders and leadership in this budget year know that we feel like this is something that's worth investing into in the state of Kentucky. So I'm proud of the work that we did. I think we've got a good document here that'll kick us off into the legislative session. So I want to say thank you to all the members that have given input and been involved in the task force, and hopefully everybody will take a little piece of this puzzle and work on it legislatively and support the ideas that have come out of this task force. So at this time, if there aren't any other comments, I'd kind of look for a motion to approve to accept the report as amended by Representative McPherson's couple words that we added. So we have a motion from Representative Klein and a second from Senator Deneen. All in favor, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The report is approved, and we will submit this to LRC, to President Stivers and Speaker Osborne for their approval. So if there are not any other parts of business to be brought before us, we stand adjourned. Thank you.